All right, settle down. You future titans of industry. It's your boy, Jordan Belfort, back in the house. And I'm about to drop a truth bomb that's gonna shatter every comfortable, lazy lie you've ever been told about success. Most people, they look at the Elon Musks, the Steve Jobs, the Warren Buffetts, and they whisper, oh, they're just talented. They're just geniuses. And that, my friends, is why they stay broke, stay sidelined, and stay utterly mediocre. But listen up. Talent is a myth. Genius is overrated. The world is full of talented failures and broke geniuses. You know what the ultimate equalizer is? A psychotic work ethic combined with strategic intelligence. This isn't about natural gifts. This is the formula for how an underdog can dismantle a king. This is how the average, the hungry, the relentless rise up and dominate the gifted. Today we're breaking down the brutal, unapologetic system for applying relentless effort to the right things, ensuring every ounce of sweat equity translates into a strategic gain. We're not talking about just working hard, we're talking about working obsessively hard on what truly matters. Stop admiring talent from the sidelines. Stop making excuses about what you don't have. It's time to get in the arena. Unleash the beast within and bleed for what you want. Are you ready to stop wishing and start winning? Are you ready to prove that disciplined effort and sharp strategy trump any natural advantage? Then buckle up, because the underdog's revolution begins now. 1. The myth of talent and genius. Your lie is exposed. Listen up. The biggest lie you tell yourself, the most comfortable crutch for your mediocrity, is the myth of talent and genius. You see someone wildly successful, and you immediately think, oh, they were just born with it. Bullshit. That's a convenient excuse designed to keep you from doing the brutal work required for your own success. Success attracts. It's not inherited. Income does not far exceed personal development. If somebody hands you $1 million, best you become a millionaire quickly so you get to keep the money, otherwise, sure enough, it'll disappear. Incredible success is something you attract, not something you pursue. Success is looking for a good place to stay. Instead of going after it, you work on yourself. The major question to ask on the job is not what you are getting. The major question to ask is what you are becoming. Rhetorical question. Are you waiting for a divine spark of genius, or are you ready to forge your own? The uncomfortable truth. Jim Rohn would say, if you don't like the crop, who do you look to? Whoever planted it. And where do you find who planted your crop? In the mirror. You are the one who plants the seeds of your life. It's not what happens that determines the quality or quantity of your life. It's what you do, your poverty, your mediocrity, your unfulfilled life. It's a direct product of your habits, not a lack of innate talent. Talent without will is worthless. The world is full of talented failures and broke geniuses. These are the guys who peaked in high school, who had potential but lacked the discipline, the drive, the sheer willpower to see things through. Talent without relentless application is just wasted energy. Genius without disciplined focus is just a scattered mind. Story time, the natural failure. I once knew a kid, brilliant, scored off the charts on every aptitude test. Natural charisma. Everyone said he was destined for greatness. He breezed through school, got a top-tier job. But when the real grind started, when things got tough, when the initial dopamine hit wore off, he expected things to come easy. He believed his talent was enough. He'd complain, make excuses, procrastinate. His less talented, less genius colleagues, however, were grinding. They were putting in the unseen hours, learning relentlessly, pushing through boredom and discomfort. They weren't waiting for inspiration. They were forcing consistency. And guess what? They rose. They built careers, fortunes, and reputations, while the natural talent faded into obscurity, always talking about what he could have been. Talent is a myth if it's an excuse for a weak work ethic. 2. Outwork. The talented, the psychotic work ethic. This is where the underdog dismantles the king. You might not be the smartest, but you can be the most relentless. A psychotic work ethic is your ultimate equalizer. Discipline over motivation. Motivation is fleeting. It's neuromodulator dependent. It fluctuates based on internal states and external cues. It's volatile. What is reliable? What actually reshapes the neural circuitry of your brain is consistency, specifically, forced consistency. That means showing up and doing the thing, even when motivation is at zero. Every time you act without the chemical incentive, without dopamine pushing you, you're training your prefrontal cortex to take control. That's executive function. That's what separates people who wish from people who execute. Rhetorical question. Do you think champions feel inspired every single morning? Hell no. They feel tired, sore, bored, but they show up anyway. Embracing discomfort. Your personal forge, your godlike discipline isn't born in comfort. It's forged in the fire of discomfort, boredom, and low dopamine states. This is where you separate yourself from the soft masses. Neuroplasticity doesn't happen when you're comfortable. It happens when your system is under strain. When you're pushing against resistance, operating in that zone just beyond what feels manageable, that's where the brain becomes malleable. The anti-vision attack immediately upon waking, before your feet even hit the floor. Visualize your anti-vision. See the poverty, the stagnation, the regret. Let that uncomfortable feeling burn. Let it ignite a cold, hard anger against complacency. This generates the aggression needed to leave your comfort zone. Persistence, the unbreakable will. Persistence is not inspiration. It is the ability to keep moving when the inspiration dies. It is the discipline to continue long after the mood is left. Everyone wants to keep going when it's easy. But what about when nothing's happening? When the audience is gone? When the effort feels invisible and the pain feels constant? That is the battlefield. That is where the real are separated from the pretenders. The persistent stay in the game because they've made a decision. This is not optional. This is who I am. I do not quit. I do not pause. I do not need applause to move. I have already committed, and that commitment is final. Ruthless accountability. The truth teller. Without accountability, persistence becomes blind motion. It sharpens your focus. It holds you to the standard you set when you were clear, committed, and sober-minded. Most people run from accountability because it exposes their laziness. But the man who seeks greatness does not run from it. He welcomes it. He knows that the mirror doesn't lie. Confronting reality, failure is not the end. Unless you make it so. Failure is feedback. It is information. It is the sharpening ground of those who do not quit. Every time you get knocked down and get back up, you are proving that your commitment is stronger than your emotion. A story time, the boxer who refused to break. I knew a young boxer, raw talent, lightning fast, but he had a glass jaw when it came to adversity. The moment he felt the real pain of the fight, he'd fold. He'd make excuses. He believed pain was a signal to stop. I told him, kid, you're confusing pain with weakness. Your body can take it. Your mind's the problem. I put him on a brutal regimen. Every day he trained past discomfort, past boredom, past the point where his body screamed to quit. He learned that neuroplasticity wasn't a theory. It was a result of pushing through strain. He learned to recognize the dopamine dropout, the urge to escape, and he forced himself through it. He didn't become pain-free. He became pain-tolerant. He learned that when he pushed through the initial discomfort, his brain adapted. He started to thrive under pressure. He finished that fight, not because it got easier, but because he became unbreakable. He outworked every talented opponent because his will could not be broken. 3. Outsmart the genius. Strategic intelligence and precision. Hard work alone isn't enough. The world is full of busy fools. To outsmart the genius, you need to apply that relentless effort to the right things with surgical precision. Definiteness of purpose. Your strategic laser. A man or woman without a definite purpose is like a ship without a rudder. To outsmart the genius, you need a target so clear, so specific, so unshakable that your own mind aligns with it instantly. When your purpose is clear, your energy becomes focused. Distractions lose their power. Noise fades into silence. This laser-like clarity ensures you're applying your work ethic where it matters most. Focus as a force multiplier. Focus is a force multiplier on work. Almost everyone I've ever met would be well served by spending more time thinking about what to focus on. It is much more important to work on the right thing than it is to work many hours. Most people waste most of their time on stuff that doesn't matter. Once you have figured out what to do, be unstoppable about getting your small handful of priorities accomplished quickly. Practical application. Implement monk mode work blocks. Put your phone on silent and in another room. Close all unnecessary browser tabs. Clear your desk. This creates an impregnable fortress for your focus. Accurate thinking, stripping away delusion. Every failure, every disappointment, every wasted year can be traced back to one cause: faulty thinking. The inability to see things as they are, not as you wish them to be. Accurate thinking is survival. It is the foundation of all sound decisions, all effective planning, all lasting success. To think accurately is to take control of the machine between your ears and force it to deal only with facts, only with logic, only with what can be tested, proven, verified. Anything else is a distraction. Anything else is a trap. Guard your mental gates. You must guard your mind like a fortress. Information is everywhere. Most of it useless, most of it noise. The thinker who wins is not the one who consumes the most, but the one who filters the best. Organized planning. The blueprint for predation. Victory is not random. Wealth, power, freedom, none of them come from chance. They are claimed by men and women who plan with precision and move with force. Organized planning is not optional. It is the master tool of every serious achiever. The man who fails to plan is planning to fail. That's a law. Strategic steps. Break your dream into actions. Break your actions into habits. Break your habits into time slots. Break your time slots into a system. Then live that system like your life depends on it. Leverage through talent. Your best talent you haven't even hired yet. The level of a business grows like a Christmas tree, with the number and intelligence of brains that goes up. The outsized return on intelligence is so high that I still see it as one of the fundamental arbitrages that exists in business. How much time you save by hiring somebody who knows exactly what to do, how it drives revenue, and they can use 10 years of experience that you don't have to pay for. This is about smart resource allocation. Better, not just bigger. If you want to get bigger, get better. Better leads to growth. Bigger leads to bloat. Elon Musk aims to be an order of magnitude better than existing solutions. If your thing is amazing, customers will demand you get bigger. This is how you outsmart the competition, by creating undeniable quality. Storytime, the disruptor who knew too much. I remember a young entrepreneur who entered a saturated market. Everyone laughed. He's naive. They said he won't last a month. But this kid, he wasn't just working hard. He was thinking accurately. He devoured market data, analyzed competitors' weaknesses with surgical precision, and understood customer pain points better than anyone. He didn't listen to the noise of the industry. He filtered it, discarding 90% of what he heard as irrelevant. While others were chasing trends, he was focused on timeless principles. He developed a product that was an order of magnitude better, not just marginally. He spoke only in facts backed by data, and his every move was a calculated strategic strike. His competitors, blinded by their own assumptions and emotional biases, didn't see him coming. When they finally realized what was happening, it was too late. He had already carved out a significant market share. They didn't just dislike him, they feared his intelligence, his ability to see the chessboard 5 moves ahead. That's how you outsmart the genius. 4. The unseen grind, how underdogs conquer. The ultimate power move of the underdog is the unseen grind. This is where you combine psychotic work ethic with strategic intelligence, all beneath the radar, until your results explode onto the scene. Building in silence. Most people are desperate to be seen, to gain validation, to broadcast every minor win. But the real breakthroughs, the true leaps in power and wealth, happen in silence. Your competitors can't crush what they can't see coming. The work done in silence matters more than anything else. It's the 5 a.m. wake-ups when no one knows you're grinding. It's the hard choices when no one's applauding. That's where transformation happens. Dopamine from execution, not expression. Your brain's dopamine system isn't built to respond to attention. It's built to respond to progress. Prematurely sharing your goals gives your brain a false sense of completion, burning fuel on perception instead of outcomes. When you stop needing the world to tell you you're doing okay, you know you are, because your biology confirms it every time you show up for yourself. The unstoppable identity. If you're not being seen right now, don't mistake that for failure. It might be the greatest advantage you have, because in the shadows, without the pressure of performance, you're free to evolve without interference. And when that internal shift becomes undeniable, it won't need to be announced. The world will notice when it's ready. Patience as profit. The money isn't made in the buy or the sell, it's made in the wait. The hard part of the plan is sticking with the plan, not doing the plan. Patience simply means figuring out what to do in the meantime while you allow your master plan to come to fruition without thinking that you're smarter than you are to begin with. Story time. The Phantom Disruptor. I once witnessed a market being completely disrupted by a new player who came out of nowhere. No grand announcements, no flashy PR campaigns, just a quiet, relentless build. My competitors were too busy making noise, shouting their innovations, and seeking likes on social media. They didn't see the silent storm brewing. This new player worked in almost complete secrecy. They focused on their product, refining it, making it undeniably superior. They weren't getting dopamine hits from public validation. They were getting it from execution. While my rivals were caught in the illusion of being busy, this company was building an empire in the shadows. When they finally launched, the market was stunned. They weren't just good, they were an order of magnitude better. My competitors, caught off guard, had nothing to counter with. They had underestimated the power of the unseen grind. That company became a dominant force, not because they were the loudest, but because they understood the strategic advantage of building in silence. That's how you operate with the focus of a killer. The 5. The killer's mindset. Integrating will and intellect. To truly outwork the talented and outsmart the genius, you must embody a mindset where relentless will and strategic intellect are fused. This is the operating system of the apex predator. The discipline of a god. Motivation is fleeting. Discipline is eternal. It is the engine that drives success when inspiration has abandoned you. This is a deep dive into building a level of self-control that borders on superhuman. We're not talking about waking up early, we're talking about forging a will of iron. Learn to command your focus like a sniper, eliminating distractions with lethal precision. This is the operating system of a god, and it's time to install it in your mind. The focus of a killer. Focus is a force multiplier on work. It is much more important to work on the right thing than it is to work many hours. Most people waste most of their time on stuff that doesn't matter. This is the precision that separates the best from the rest. Aggression and purpose. The mindset of greatness knows adversity breeds resilience. Resilience leads to next level success and brilliance. You need to channel your dissatisfaction, your anger at your current circumstances, and your hunger for more. Turn it from a poison into a propellant. This aggression, directed by purpose, fuels your relentless drive. Self-belief and identity. Belief isn't a reward, it is the result of doing the small things you once promised yourself and not giving up. Every time you follow through on a small action, you build inner trust. You don't change your life in one leap. You change your life one consistent hour at a time. This builds an identity that says, I am the proof. Story time, the fusion of force and intellect. I once had a mentee, a young man who was struggling to make a breakthrough. He was disciplined, worked hard, but he wasn't strategic. He was working hard on the wrong things. His efforts were scattered. He was outworking everyone, but not outsmarting anyone. I taught him to fuse his raw discipline with razor-sharp intellect. We mapped out his definite purpose with surgical precision. We identified the one thing that would move the needle, and he channeled all his psychotic work ethic into that singular objective. He learned to filter information ruthlessly, discarding noise and focusing only on verifiable facts. He started his day with an anti-vision to ignite his aggression, then immediately declared his purpose to achieve laser focus. He became a terrifying force. His competitors, who relied on their natural talent or genius, were simply outmaneuvered. He didn't just work hard, he worked brilliantly hard. He didn't just think smart, he executed flawlessly. He went from a struggling underdog to a dominant force because he had learned to integrate the relentless will with the strategic mind. That's the killer's mindset. You've heard it all. the blueprint for outwork. The talented and outsmart the genius. This isn't just about winning, it's about domination. It's about proving that discipline, effort, and sharp strategy can dismantle any natural advantage. We have dissected the brutal truth: talent and genius are myths, often crutches for mediocrity. How to cultivate a psychotic work ethic by embracing discomfort, persistence, and accountability. How to wield strategic intelligence through definite purpose, laser focus, accurate thinking, and smart planning. The power of the unseen grind, building your empire in silence until your results scream louder than any words. The fusion of will and intellect, the killer's mindset that makes you unstoppable. This isn't a speech to forget. It's a mental installation. The world is full of talented failures and broke geniuses, but it also presents a brutal truth. Anyone with the right work ethic and strategic intelligence can rise up and conquer. The choice is yours. Stop admiring talent from the sidelines. Stop making excuses. Get in the arena. Bleed for what you want. Outwork the talented. Outsmart the genius. And prove to the world that your relentless will and sharp mind are the ultimate force multipliers. Your destiny awaits. Now go get it.